Okay, the card we're going to be making today is just a simple Halloween card with witch feet. I've got my stamp of witch feet from Michael's in the dollars section that I just randomly found one day. I started out by stamping one stamp on a simple ivory piece of cardstock, and I colored it in with colored pencil. The next thing you're going to do is start with your card. That is a piece of paper, a 7 by 10, and it's just folded in half. So the card is actually 3.5 by 5, and that's the size card I like to use. It's easy to send in the mail. Use regular stamps. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is cut. I've chosen a purple background, so I am just going to take my cutting tool and cut the same size background. So I'm going to cut it 3.5 by 5. Get my card out of the way for a minute. So I'm just using measurements on my cutting tool. This is an older version of the Fiskars cutting tool. 3.5 is right there. And mine is a little bit older and likes to stick, so I like to just go across a couple times just to make sure it's well cut. And then I'm going to take out my longer measuring tool because now I want to be at the 5-inch mark. Alright, and I usually just set my scraps aside because you never know when you're going to need them later for the same project or even a new project. The next thing I like to do is just take my Scotch tape gun, and I am just going to, I like to look at both sides just to make sure that I'm putting the best side forward. So I'm going to do my tape on the back side, and I'm just doing 4 easy lines all the way across. And then I like to measure my card up. Okay. As you can see, I've got a little bit extra on the side. When I pre-cut my cards, I may have trimmed down a little extra. So then what I like to do is just take a little X-Acto knife and trim off the sides a little bit so you don't have any extra hanging off. We want a nice clean presentation. A nice clean perfect surface to work with. Okay. The next thing I'm going to actually do is trim down. My witch's feet aren't really in the center, so I'm going to trim down just a little bit. And you can really just eye this. I don't necessarily do an exact measurement for this, but you want it to look pretty well centered. Just so it looks like you are a perfectionist. Then I'm going to take my corner trimming tool, and this one is an EK Success, just something I've had for a while, and I'm going to trim off my corners for a rounded look. Okay. And then I am going to take my black background paper that I've chosen, some black polka dots. This is just from a pack of multi-polka dotted papers. There's hundreds of them in there. And I am just going to eyeball this once again. I don't do a lot with exact measurements, but I can tell you the size it comes out to be. And again, I'm just going to set my scraps aside. Eyeball it again, and I believe last time I had made this one a little bit too big for the card, so I did have to do more trimming. Again, you're going to trim down the corners of your polka dotted piece. then you're simply, again, going to take whatever version of a tape gun or sticking mechanism you have, and put your witch's feet in the center of it. The next part is to simply just decide where you want your feet to go. I've chosen portrait for this card, so that would be the up and down. And I'm going to do mine just about centered, but I need to make sure I leave a little bit of room for the ribbon at the top. And again, I will stick some tape on the back side of this one. And I'm going to go a little bit below center so I have room for that ribbon. And I'm going to place it on like that. Now this one I had chosen to do a piece of foam underneath and make it raised. So you can also do that as well. This one I'm just doing, and I'm noticing that it's not quite centered, so I'm going to peel it off again and re-stick. It was a little off-centered on the sides. Which is nice. If you take a look right away when you're doing it, you should be able to remove the piece that you're sticking without it tearing right away. And then I'm just going to take my ribbon that I had chosen for this project, tie a little knot. And I really want to try to make sure I can get the polka dots on all sides, so you got to do a little bit of twisting. And I want my knot to be in the middle, and then I'm just going to stick again a little piece with my tape gun and stick it down. And there you have your Witch's Feet Halloween card.